Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for sticking around. I guess against your better judgment. We'll be talking about postmortems today. But the real reason I'm here, though, is not my love for postmortems or passion. It's rather my passionate hate for writing reports for the sake of writing reports. And this is what a lot of those turn into. And I guess I'm not the only one, or, I'm not unique in that regard. What I'm not going to be able to do, though, is offer you a definitive solution to this predicament, right? Writing reports for the sake of writing reports. Except maybe I can tell you don't do it if you see that you're doing it. But as we will see, don't do it is not much of an action item. So instead, let's take a look at a story that I'm going to share with you, a postmortem story, and see if we can spot some patterns in it that will help us maybe steer away from this wicked practice. Now, the story happened a long time ago. I was a data engineer at a late-stage startup. We didn't have a lot of data still in the data warehouse, so we did some of our data pipelines on a live database. Now, don't panic just yet. It was a read-only replica. That's our setup over there. You can see it. It's a read-only replica, and that's me over there in case you didn't recognize me, debugging a pipeline that failed the night before. And so there I am going about my business, debugging the pipeline. I run into a table called a very large money transaction table, name changed slightly for privacy reasons. So I wonder how large it is. Well, one way to find out, and stay in your seats, it's fine. I know there are many ways to find out, but it wouldn't be much of a story, would it, if I didn't choose the worst possible one at that moment. So I unleash select count all. It runs for a while. A colleague comes up to me and says, hey, do you want to grab some lunch? And I go, yeah, sure, why not, add to the pile of conditions that are going to lead to a perfect storm. So by now, we go off to lunch and the query keeps running. By now you understand, probably you can predict where this whole thing is going. I come back from lunch, all systems red, SREs scrambling, yelling something about payment DB being down. The CFO somewhere in the corner, rocking back and forth, users can't pay us money, but what else are they going to do, right? Me just walking in casually and thinking, this looks serious. I wouldn't want to swap places with a guy who caused all that. As it turns out, I didn't really have to, right? So a couple of hours later, the whole incident has been resolved. And we caught the culprit. You'll never guess who it was. This is what we said we thought we were doing. But unbeknownst to me, the SRE team would occasionally swap the primary and the replica for what I'm certain were excellent reasons at the time without telling anyone. So this is actually the setup in which I ended up with. And eventually, after I ran the query, this is what happened. OK. So we know what happened. What do we do now? Well, we go on with our lives, not do it again, I guess. Or if you have a person in your org who is ready to dish out some tough love when tough love is needed, you're going to have to do a post-mortem. And it was not a problem, right? We were young and willing, and it sounded fun, to be honest. But what is a post-mortem anyway? Now, I want to put a pin on a story for a second here and talk to you about this. As engineering leaders, you will get this question, what is a postmortem? Don't give in to temptation to just splurt out the definition as an answer or to just send them a link and tell them go figure it out. The minute they understand that this is a report, they're going to be writing a report because you want them to write a report, because reports are important, because reports. And I get mad just talking about this, so I have to calm down a little bit. Instead, try to lure them into a learning or problem-solving mindset by offering a plain English three-point explanation, something like this. Let's try it together. Hey, Adnan, what's a postmortem? Well, figure out what went wrong and why. Why being very important. It's going to map to your root cause, which is the single most important part of your postmortem. All right? Now, this may be a little bit of a hot take, but everything before root cause is just narrative. It's just building up tension. Next, think what you can do about it so that it doesn't happen again. It's going to map to your action items, right? Action items need to address the root cause. If they don't, you mess something up, back to the drawing board. If they do, you may be doing it right. And third, and not less important,
Hope you're enjoying this video, but did you know Lead Dev has lots more to offer?
So webinar, podcasts, I even like articles, conferences, events, and most importantly, community.
And even thinking about like process, tech, and people, which is how Lead Dev website is laid out, I really think this is the #1 learning platform for me as an engineering manager.
Don't forget to check out leaddev.com.
try and be nice while doing it. Surprisingly difficult to achieve, I will have you know. Because sometimes blame game takes subtle forms, and sometimes it's even incentivized, as we will see. Okay, now we know what it is. Unpause the story, back to the office, where our merry gang, myself included, are trying to, rack out their first draft of the postmortem. So let's see what they came up with. Okay, postmortem, first draft, root cause. Skip to the root cause, remember? A large analytics query was run on the primary database. Okay, strong start, factually correct, which is important. What else? Okay, turns out nothing else, straight to action items. As far as coherence goes, this is not that bad, right? It matches the root cause, but the problem is the root cause is so shallowly described that you can't really get more specific than this, right? Take a look. Don't run large. Yeah, I know. I knew this before I ran. Everybody knows this, so it doesn't really help. And even don't run like, it's an inaction item. It's not really an action item. We need to be able to do something, not to not do something. You see where I'm going with this, right? So back to the drawing board. We have to be able to do better than this. Let's try again, but this time think, why was this possible in the first place? Why is going to map to your root cause, right? Not the what. So let's take a look. Root cause, take two. After the switch, the data team stayed connected to the same DB, which became primary. Okay, already more informative, right? We forgot to switch their access. Okay, not that bad, right? So now we know the why, we know the what, we know the why. We kind of have a general direction. But do you remember when I told you that blame game can take subtle forms? Take a look. We forgot. So it's not really that we dished out the blame to someone else, like, he did it. But it's rather like we took it upon ourselves, which is still a blame game, right? Nevertheless. In some companies, in some cultures, I guess, it's seen as a noble thing to do, right? Ooh, accountability, bravo team, that's how we do it around here. But in the context of a postmortem, this needs to be actionable, right? So what do I do with this? You say, it's my fault. Okay, what do I do with you? Like, do I fire you? That doesn't scale, right? We forgot. What do I, do I remind you the next time? So, but again, to be fair, better than the last time. So let's give it a chance. Let's see the action items. Add switching DB access to data team to the DB switch checklist. I told you they're going to want to be reminded. So checklist, okay, fine. This is process, right? So the first time around, we counted on people to not do things, to remember stuff that we told, like to come up with learnings, etc. This is introducing a process. So as long as we stick with the process, we're going to be fine. If we forget to check the checklist, then I guess next time around, we're going to have a meta checklist to remind us of all the checklists. But again, let's not be too critical of it. Better than the last time. But there has to be an even better way, right, to not, remember all the checklists. So back to the drawing board one last time. And this time, let's think why, but let's focus on a system and not on the people. So think, which property of the system made this possible? And indeed, root cause, take three. Lack of safeguards, that's our property of the system, to prevent running queries on the primary DB. And this is great. So this yells at me like what I should be doing, right? Lack of safeguards, create the safeguards. So let's take a look. Action item. Automate revoke access on the primary DB within the switch procedure. That's our safeguard. And if we do this, if you remember, we need to find an action so that this doesn't happen again. If we do this, this won't happen again. No need to remember things, no need to introduce new processes, no need to disseminate learnings to our colleagues. Just find a system fault. If you fix it, it's not going to happen again. That's the purpose of the postmortem. And that's the end of our story. And yeah, obviously, we lived happily ever after and never made a single mistake again. But what does this mean for you? Now, I know that this is too short and too simple of a story to revolutionize the way you think about postmortems. But if there's one thing I would like you to take away from this, it's do it as if you're doing it for yourselves. So not general public, in case you're publishing your postmortems, oh, look at the processes that we have, or your colleagues who are undoubtedly going to be like, oh yeah, thank you for these learnings, it's going to make us so much better. No, it's not. They're going to forget all about it as soon as they close your report. Or your manager, for that matter, they don't understand what you're talking about half the time anyway. As they shouldn't. It's your system. You built it, you're running it. Well, own the damn thing. You make it better. It's going to improve your quality of life, and this is the tool to do it. It's a letter from yourself to yourself about your system, right? And if you write start writing an action item in your postmortem, something along the lines like we need to be mindful of, or if learnings are the main part of your postmortem, just tear it up and start all over again. Don't focus on human errors, on human faults. You're never going to fix those. Focus on system faults. If you fix those, human errors won't matter. Now, this is a lot of do's and don'ts, I'm aware, and as we said in the beginning, they don't make for great action items, but until I find that silver bullet, this will have to do. That was my time. Thank you so much. My name is Adnan. I'm staff engineer at Vinted. Check us out at Vinted Co. UK. We're not going to stop until we make second-hand first choice worldwide. Thank you so much. Bye.